I just wanted to provide some more examples of what kind of visualizations you can make with the deckgl packaging, or just some very simple examples that show you um, what's possible, what can be customized, and also give you an idea of whether it makes sense for you to visualize something in 3D on a map-based background. Um, Again, I use here in this example an arc plot, similar to the video where I showed how to create a heat map or a column plot using deckgl, or how to create a scatter plot. You can, in the same way and with the same kind of code structure, just using a different layer, an arc plot layer, create a visualization like that. By adjusting the color scaling, you can get like color gradients as the one shown here. And the base map is always from Mapbox. So if you want to change the Mapbox, you can go into Mapbox using the browser, click on the style, so the respective map that you chose to hand over to deckgl as a style, and change it in your browser. And then when you create the plot again in your R code, the base map will have changed accordingly. So I just wanted to provide some more examples. This was the example I just showed. This is an example where I just adjusted the coloring using the same base map and still using an arc plot. This is a different base map. It's also an arc plot. This is a map I also showed to you in one of the other videos. It's like a column plot where the height of the columns indicates the intensity of the observation value that we observe or that we want to visualize. But also the coloring is an indication of the intensity. So it's like a three-dimensional heat map where both column height and color indicates the intensity of our distribution and gives us some understanding of the spatial aspects of our distribution. That was the same example, but with slightly different parameters. Here is like a more sharp visualization compared to the other one. This is like an arc plot combined with the column plot layer. So you can see you can add different layers and create like combined plots. This is just a silly example here where I created some normally distributed spatial data points around city centers, like for example London and Berlin, and then created the arc plots between those cities as well. I'm going to provide example of path plots. So also this is possible. You can create a list indicating like the route of your paths, and then you can visualize your paths on maps as shown here. So this might also be an interesting thing to do, especially if you work within logistics, maybe network optimization. This is an example of a column plot where I just showed that you can zoom in, you can change like the width of the columns, the space between the columns, the coloring of the columns, so you can do all kinds of different visualizations. Just look at it. This is for example where I just changed the coloring to just yellow, so every column is yellow. This is an example where I said there's no space between the columns, so I don't want to be able to see through the columns. I just want them to be right next to each other, and I get like this very close heat map, and I also adjusted the coloring. Here I changed a little bit the thickness or the width of the columns and also the height, so the height scale. Here I adjusted the scale of the height even more. This is an example where I then adjusted the coloring, and I um, since deckgl is creating an interactive map that you can like interact with in the browser, you can like turn it, and you can, for example, look from it from different angles and perspectives. This like looking at it from above, and then you see it's like a really two-dimensional heat map that you can also visualize. Another example of a two-dimensional heat map. Another example where I use a completely different base map. And another example of a component heat map. Here I adjust the height scale to be very low. Another example of a different base map that is available in Mapbox. Here I adjusted again the base map. Again, another example of a different base map. And another example of a different base map. So these are just a few examples, but like playing with Mapbox and the styles and playing with the layers that are available to you with the deckgl plotting functions, you can create some really interesting visualizations. And there's a really nice example out there if you Google it. There are some people that made some really awesome visualizations. So check it out. I think it's one of the best packages for visualizing spatial aspects of your data in R.